So I want you to really be thinking about what are the elements of a ritual that would be meaningful for you. Every ritual must begin with an intention. Why am I here? Remember, I asked you at the beginning of this course. Why are you here? What are your intentions? What you come here for? There must be a sequence. So we started with with gratitude. We went to the breath. We went to an appreciation. We went to writing. We went to self-reflection. Then we left and we came back and we started with the breath and an intention. So think about what the sequence needs to be, or the sequence is, for rituals that are significant for you. Whatever you need to do to make the space sacred, do it. What are the ingredients that make it meaningful for you? In a minute, I'll show you some of the ingredients that make it meaningful for me as a therapist. But I want you to be thinking about what makes it meaningful for you. Because spiritual rituals provide a way for people, no matter what their tradition is, to make life experiences meaningful. Growth, healing, grow from the practice of rituals. So what makes a ritual spiritual? Well, one of the most important ways is to honor that the spiritual ritual is the intention. It's an opportunity to literally join the metaphysical with the physical. And so a spiritual ritual for me, no matter what people's religion is for us to close our eyes, to breathe together, to honor that we don't know everything. Spiritual rituals serve as a beautiful way to help people heal and forgive from the deepest wounds of shame, self-blame, and trauma. I did my dissertation study was on a group of Black women who had experienced chronic STDs. And maybe you don't know, but in the Baltimore area where I live, we have the highest concentration of HIV and AIDS cases are with African American women. And needless to say, it is a traumatic life event to find out that you have an STI that is incurable and could possibly cause death. And so we engage in spiritual rituals together that involve movement, imagery, dance, drawing, some of these things I'm going to show you later, meditation, conversations about food, conversations about desire and longing and planning and love and letting go, that allowed these women to move away from the shame, move away from the self-blame, move away from the self-doubt, and actually consider to have the audacity to dream again and to hope that they can survive these diagnoses. They all had HIV. No, let me clarify. They all did not have HIV. Many of them had HIV. All of them had a herpes diagnosis, which is also kind of sort of permanent. It's an annoyance, not a life or death sentence, but equally shaming. And that was also profound for the women to connect with other women and say, oh my God, I thought I was the only one that felt this way. Spiritual rituals allow us to feel validated. And there's the slightest touch of another human's hand that moves us to that place. So I mentioned earlier, I'm not talking about religion, but I got to quote Rumi again because Rumi got it. This is not being a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Sufi. That's not about the East or the West. It's about us breathing together. It's about us understanding that we are in this together, that we are humans having human experiences together. And the ritual allows that to happen. Therapy is two humans having a human experience together. So one thing that I invite people to do when I do my intakes is I ask my clients, what are some of your spiritual practices? How do you connect with the divine? What do you call the God of your understanding? because I don't want to mess up and call the God of your understanding something else. And that's where this beautiful poem by Rabia comes in, because she says, I wept because for years he did not enter my arms. Then one night I was told a secret. Perhaps the name you call God is really not his. Maybe it's an alias. I thought about it and came up with a pet name for my beloved. I never mentioned to others. All I can say is, it works. That's what I tell my clients. All I can say is, it works. What do you do to connect with the divine? And what would you like us to do together so that this experience of being in therapy allows you to connect with the divine long after you are done sitting in these blue chairs? That's my goal for clients, for them to not need me anymore, for them to tap into something greater than themselves that can guide them over and over and over again. Now we all have had experiences with rituals anyway. I'm gonna assume that most of us on this call have sung happy birthday. And now there's like 2 more social media happy birthday songs that I'm actually really quite drawn to. So it's kind of simple, right? But it's a ritual that is joyful, that is a reminder, that brings people together. And it's typically a song that everyone understands, and every culture has a happy birthday song. Then there's complex rituals, like these men involved in a ritual of preparing for a battle in sports. And this would be something that just these guys would know. But the ritual of singing happy birthday is something globally appealing. Make your ritual something, maybe something in the middle, but it might be simple to you and complex to someone else. Whatever it is, make sure you feel it right here. And then you can also be willing to change it at any time. Add some gestures, add hands, add meaning. I know I put a little personal picture up there because in my sorority that I pledged in college, we have a symbol. And when we see people with this symbol, that tells the other woman that we're in this organization together, this sisterhood. This is a symbol of meditation. In my Sufi practice, we call this the hand of Allah, but the Buddhists call it something else, and the yogis call it something else. But we all have this symbol. What does it mean to you to raise your hands in the air? What does it mean to you to close your eyes? What elements do you need to implement into a ritual with you and your clients? But first, to implement into a ritual with you and yourself. What gives meaning to you? And none of us will have the same symbol. We may have some similarities. There may be some things that are the same, but what brings meaning for you? So maybe I'll pause for a second and show you some of the things that bring meaning for me. I never start a session without my journal nearby because I have no idea what's going to come up. And sometimes I write with clients, sometimes I write by myself, but we always have writing paper nearby. I always have, this is scented, it's water with sage and lemon. So I don't always burn sage when clients are in my office, even though many traditions speak of sage as a diffuser, as a cleanser of negative energy. Not everybody wants to smell it, and there's some places where I go where I can't burn it. So I spray it. And so the sage has the same intention. Sometimes I spray it over my head. Sometimes I spray it in the chairs. And the lemon is citrus. And citrus is one of nature's natural antidepressants. So everything I have handy has meaning for me. But it's also symbolic of how people can be healed. So I told you before, I travel with this little heart. And this is symbolic of my grandmother, but it's also symbolic of everybody's grandmother because it is a soapstone from Kenya. And in my perspective, we're all actually really Africans. And I went to Kenya and I went to the museum where Lucy, which is considered one of the first humans, was resting. And I said, oh my gosh, I need something from where Lucy rested. And I found this soapstone heart that also says laugh. And my grandmother had the greatest laugh in the world. So this heart travels with me, and I call it Big Mama for obvious reasons. And people hold Big Mama, they sit with Big Mama. Some clients come in and like, oh, give me Big Mama. I need her today. The other heart that sits with me, if you can see it, I want to show you with the flaw. So this is the blue goldstone. I hope you can see that there's a flaw in it, but it's symbolic of infinite possibilities, and it's a high healing stone. But the flaw is what's so important to me, because I remind clients, we are flawed. You are flawed. I am flawed. We're going to do this work together, but we're not going to do it perfectly. And so when I'm running a group, this very often becomes my talking stick. And I say to people, this is symbolic of infinite possibilities, but also the stars are symbolic of the universe. And one of the things that my teacher, Stevie, used to say is, why do you think you're a small star when the whole universe is inside of you? And whenever he said that, we would all start crying. We cry very easily in his presence. But also, is to remind me that I'm a universe. I got all this original power, and every single person in the group is also a universe. And what happens when my universe speaks and then touches your universe and then touches your universe? So this little talking stick becomes symbolic of universes and also symbolic of deep witnessing, listening, and silence. Because when I'm running a group, the only person allowed to talk is the one holding the heart. And then crazy stuff starts to happen. People say things like, oh, where's CD? And they start looking for it. CD falls to the ground. They're like, oh, pick him up. And there's so much love and compassion that blooms from a group of strangers watching guard over a gem heart. I don't even think it's a real gem in terms of dollar value, but in terms of heart value, it's a big one. So what I also keep nearby are things that are relevant to my own growth. This is prayer beads. And there's a recitation that I recite several thousand times a day. And for me, I recite it when I'm in session so it can remind me not to get caught up in worshiping myself, number one, and not to believe that I am the all-powerful in the exchange. But it's a reminder that I can be at ease. It brings me back into balance. Take a moment. Think about, what are the symbols? What do they mean to you? What do you need to add to your room that you haven't in a while? And as you sit and bring all those things in, then you can begin to think about the structure of your ritual. So I want you to be thinking about, what are some of the symbols, items, scents, sounds that you need that are really, really significant for you, that bring meaning for you as you begin to shape or reshape or continue to form your own unique ritual for your healing work with clients and with yourself. And in the next minute, we're going to look at the biology of ritual. But I want you to take a pause and contemplate what is important for you right now.